cottage garden is full of flowers, making it a joyful place to spend a little time and prepare fleece for the upcoming Tour de Fleece, which begins on the 4th of July. If you're new to Tour de Fleece, it's an online event that connects spinners across the world, encouraging participants to spin every day of the Tour de France cycle race. Spinners often spin in teams, and it's become popular to set yardage goals for your spinning, and the most number of yards spun wins the race. For me, this creates pressure, the idea that you must go big, spin as much as possible. So rather than setting a yardage goal, I'm setting a speed limit. My goal is to spin a little each day of the race, and the goal is that I'm improving my long draw technique. Some days I may spin for an hour, some 15 minutes, just a little each day that helps to build up that muscle memory that anyone who works with their hands develops. I always say long draw is not my default spin, but it is a very useful part of our spinning arsenal, and so I really want to improve it. I'm so enjoying working with this beautiful Ryland fleece, so I've been trying to get all of it prepared, so when it actually comes to the race, I'm just going to be able to sit down and spin. So if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, then you'll know I've just finished a 6-week illustration course, and it was about finding your signature style. And one of the things that I've almost sort of had to relearn, and I kind of did know it really, but somehow I'd lost it, was about setting parameters and how not having to make decisions because you already have a set of rules really just means that you focus in on the creativity and creating within those parameters. And I think as fibre artists, we are no different from any other type of artist. And actually, if you set yourself, put my teeth back in, if you set yourself at some parameters, suddenly all those decisions have been taken away and you can just focus on the creative side of what you're doing. So setting parameters for Tour de Fleece, I think is quite a powerful thing to do. And obviously I'm not telling you what those parameters should be. That really is up to you. I'm telling you what mine are. But I think if you're someone that's never done that before, I really think you'll find it valuable. But I'm not just preparing fleece for Tour de Fleece today. I've actually got some dyeing projects coming up, particularly the woad, because the woad is going to be ready in the next 2 weeks. Dog is barking off, of course. So I want to actually spin up some of the Shetland that I was washing a couple of videos ago, or maybe it was one video ago. I don't know, they all kind of merge into one sometimes. Anyway, so I'm going to card up a little bit, I'm going to comb up a little bit of that Shetland so I can spin it, so I've got something to put in the woad dye bath when I do that. So better get on with it, I guess. So this is very different from what I've just been combing. And this was quite an old fleece. It was not this year's, and I've scoured it once. Strictly speaking, I should scour it again because these tips are not particularly clean. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin it and then scour it when it's been spun, and hopefully then the dye will stick to it. So obviously it's a much longer staple length and much finer than that Ryland is. I mean, Shetland is the finest native breed that we have, and it's really lovely stuff. And of course you get lots of different colours as well, but this is a white one, so I wanted something that was going to be next to the skin, soft, that I could dye, particularly with the woad. I love the idea of having some Shetland dyed with woad. And I think that's probably going to be enough on the tines just to start with. So, I mean, look how different it is. That staple length is just hugely different. I mean, you really wouldn't normally comb a fleece with such a short staple length as I was combing that Ryland. But you most definitely would comb Shetland. Oh, it's lovely. Those tips are combing out absolutely fine. Oh, it's so beautiful. I mean, it still has got quite a crimp to it. But you can, wow, I don't know if you can see how incredibly fine it is. It's getting caught by the wind in the garden. Might have to do this inside. I don't think it likes the kind of the windiness of the garden. But it's so nice out here. I didn't want to work inside when it was sunny outside. We don't see the sun that much, so when it is sunny like this, I'd like to be outside really. Yeah, there is still a little bit of grease in this. So I would always recommend working with this year's clip, particularly if you are new to working with raw fleece. And the reason I say that is because the lanolin gets harder over time. And of course you can work with older fleece. I mean, you absolutely can, as I'm demonstrating I am. But it does take a bit more work to get all the lanolin out. But actually, having said that, it makes it a little bit easier to process when there's just a little bit of lanolin still in it. And I had a comment on one of my videos, and I can't remember which one it was, a lady telling me that she spins in the grease, and she actually was spinning clip that was 10 years old, or fleece that was 10 years old. I was like, wow. And I guess because she was spinning in the grease, she wasn't worrying about how hard the lanolin was. But yeah, rather her than me, I think. But it just goes to show there are no fibre arts police. So do what works for you. And as I really don't like spinning in the grease, I've said it many times, and I get a bit freaked out by too much lanolin on fibre. But this I can cope with. This is not so much that I'm freaking out. And it's, you know, it's a kind of spicy brain sensory thing. I just don't like the feel of it. I don't like the feel of wet, greasy fleece either, which is where I always wear my marigolds. But each to his own. And I would never tell you not to do something. I would say, I wouldn't do it, but you experiment. And I always give you my reasons to why I won't do something. And generally, I have experimented. I don't just kind of randomly say these things. I think I probably could have put a bit more fibre on here, but just wanted to see how floofy it was going to get. Because despite the fact that Shetland is very fine, it is still a down breed, and so it's got that crimp to it. Oh, this is lovely. This is going to be lovely to spin. I'm really looking forward to spinning this. think I probably should have done a few more passes looking at it, so bear that in mind when I'm doing the next one. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with this, and I will see you in a little bit. So the Waverley is coming to Pembrokeshire this week, so I'm rather hoping that I'm going to be able to get some video for you. So I have an idea of where I want to go to see it. So fingers crossed, that'll be the next thing. So here we are down on the beach. It's quite windy, so I hope you can hear me. It's really funny. I remember seeing the Waverley in Bristol when I was a kid, and it seemed huge to me. And now I've come down here and it's really small, and I don't think you're going to be able to see it very well. But hey ho. Anyway, we're as kind of close as we can get without having to buy a ticket, and I'm not a very good sailor, so as much as I like seeing the Waverley, don't actually want to go on open water on it. So there you go. Now I say I'm not a very good sailor. When we used to have our little dinghy, I was fine on that. But like big ships or kind of ferries, yeah, not a great sailor. Anyway, it's beautiful down here today. As I say, windy, as you can no doubt hear, but lovely and sunny. So we're just going to carry on with our walk. So the tide has just turned, so we're going to head on back in, because it does come in very fast here. It's pretty shallow, and even when it's all the way in, it's nice and shallow, but yeah, we just should turn for home. Well, beautiful blue sky. There are swallows kind of flying all across the moor, making their lovely little twittering noise. And I've come to check a couple of foraging spots. So the wild plums, see how they're getting on, and just also look and see how the sea oats, I think that's what they're called, are getting on, because you get a really nice green from the flowers. Anyway, so I'm going to carry on and see what these plums look like. The crop is nowhere as big as last year, and as you can see, they are nowhere near ripe, which they shouldn't be, in all honesty. It should be a bit later in the summer, but last year they were ready really early. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on these, but they're not ready yet. I've had several weeks where I've not really done a lot of spinning, so it was lovely to sit down and just have an afternoon at the wheel while I spun up some of that lovely Shetland. I want something to dye. I want to do a woad dye very soon, because the leaves are nearly ready, and classically they were ready from the summer solstice, which we are fast approaching. The illustration course I did a few weeks ago absolutely was a treat for myself, but it was very intense and much more emotional than I really imagined it was going to be, because I was really putting onto the page things that were coming out of my heart, and it was a good exercise. However, just sitting here, relaxing and spinning without anything to worry about, no deadlines to meet, nothing to stress about, was very luxurious. June in Wales. It's raining, which is the perfect excuse to go and ply up that Shetland I was spinning yesterday. And just like that, it's the end of the week. My goodness, it absolutely flew past. You can see I've got yarn drying in the pear tree. I'll give you a closer look in a minute. I think it's pretty much dry. Dog's running about like a loony because we are about to go out for our walk, and then we're off on adventures. Quite little adventures. Bit of charity shopping, I think. Popping in to see a friend. And then, yeah, it is supermarket shopping day. So, thank you so much for watching. If you are a member of the channel, thank you for your support. If you're not a member, it's a monthly payment of not very much, I'll put it on screen, and it just means that you get early access to the videos. They are then made live for everyone. People ask me for a way of supporting the channel, and that's the way you can do it. Of course, just watching the channel, you support it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in a few days' time. Bye for now.